Hello, and welcome back to Memory Monday number 8. Today, again, with a guest who will show up here in a couple of minutes, and we'll talk a bit about his memory career. You might know him, you might not, I don't know. Johnny Briones I have to find out how do I pronounce his last name right. That's definitely something I need to do. I know him also, since I don't know how many years. I'm not sure when I met him for the last time, but definitely someone worth talking to, and especially also here on the Memory Monday, I would say. So this Memory Monday number 8, of course, following Memory Monday number 7 from last week. I got a lot of nice feedback for that episode. It was definitely a special one. So I was talking about very personal stories, emotional stories also, but very personal stories, how my mindset in memory sports became alive and why I am what I am today. Someone who is very, trying to get the best out of the least good situation. I'm not sure if that describes it well enough. If you want to watch it, check it out on YouTube. There, it's all on there. Memory Monday number 7. Definitely something to check out. And yeah, Johnny is here, so let's get him loaded here and let's have a nice talk. Yeah. Hi, Johnny. How are you?
Good. It's been a long time. Got a
Uh,
beard.
years, 10 decades, I would say. So, first question is, how do I pronounce your last name correct?
My last name is Briones.
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 Yeah, okay. Thank you, because I was always like Briones. Sorry for that, but sometimes it's tough to have all these people from different countries, and it's great, but sometimes you just don't know how to pronounce it right. So, Johnny,
Right.
it's so cool to have you here today. How is everything? And maybe it's great or would be cool if you introduce just quickly yourself a bit. So you're also a memory athlete. You live in the USA, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, give us a bit of a background from your side.
Yeah. I've been competing, or I started competing in memory competitions probably 2013 when I went to the USA Memory Championship. And then I think later that year, that's when I became a Grandmaster of Memory in London for the World Memory Championship. And I think I got to meet. Did I get to meet you there? I think I should remember. I know I met you at XMT in California, and then so kind of I just started with memory training because of school. I was in school at the time, like high school, and I was doing good in school. Excuse me, I was doing good in school, but it was a lot of studying, like way
Hmm.
more study. Trying to make sure everything was perfect, and so kind of memory techniques got into a bit, and then memory competition because I think memorizing deck of cards is pretty cool. And so from there, started doing memory competitions, USA, the World Memory Championship in London, France, Canada, did some game shows here and there in China and one in the US. Um, and then because how I like to do my training, I started to create Blitz Memory to kind of train in a different aspect. 'Cause I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge fan of hour events. It's very long, very tedious. I always like the short events. And so that's kind of how I always set up my training when I was training for any competition. I know it's not a 1-to-1 transition between, oh, you get 50 digits in 1 minute. That means in 5 minutes, you get 250 digits. It's
Hmm.
not that straightforward. Um, but I always like those quick events just because, it's really cool to memorize a lot in a short amount of time and just take your whole day. Because
Yes.
an hour event like hour cards takes the whole thing.
Yeah, right. So yeah, already diving in quite deep here into the details. So you started 20 years ago, right? Roundabout.
I guess so, yeah.
And my question is, why are you still here? And this is not offensive. This is really meant to be. I mean, you are so long in the sport, and you are not only in the sport, but you're going around the world to the big TV shows, like in China, for example. and you also have teach or teaching memory strategies, memory techniques. You're trying to build stuff online, like your app, which we will take a look later today. So, what drives you to stay on that topic? Because many people can start memorizing stuff, but less people would continue and making it a profession in so many different ways. So, what drives you?
I think what drives me is just about staying healthy mentally, physically,
Mhm.
and I feel like the mind is overlooked a lot. Everyone's really been into or big into like the physical fitness, right? You got to make sure you're exercising your body, so you don't have health issues. Well, the same thing is true for your brain, right? As you would know that you need to exercise your mind to keep your mind strong, healthier, so you're still there when you're older, you still have your mental capabilities. And so definitely me loving to working out, pushing myself, doing marathons, ultra marathons, stuff like that, definitely spilled into memory training. And the idea that I need to keep my mind sharp, and the only way to do that is if you keep training it and pushing yourself. And it doesn't always have to be memory training, even like critical thinking, trying to solve problems. That's a lot of hard work, especially when I'm doing coding and stuff like that. That alone just could frustrate me, because like I know what I want, but it's messing up along the whole way. And so I just love that aspect of being able to push your mind and keep it, strong, especially, as I age. But I also have a daughter, and I want to show her, you know, learning doesn't have to be that difficult. Improving your memory, improving your body, it takes work, effort, but if you do it consistently, then that's where you get the payoff. And so I really want to set that example for her that, hey, when I wake up in the morning and go work out, and she goes downstairs and find me when she works out, like, hey, you need to put the time in. And same thing with memory training, that
Mhm.
you need to put the time in to get better, to make school a lot easier, but just keep your mind healthy and active.
Right, and yeah, that I think you're already touching to a very interesting topic. So, first thing is you were talking about that memory techniques or memory training, of course, sharpens your mind and makes you maybe longer healthy in your mind. I'm really wondering if in the long run, I think we have right now a couple of people worldwide who have doing memory training for years now, for 20 years or something like that. And I feel we have to get them all together to get a really long-term study because we still don't know if the people doing mind memory sports have less capability of getting like disease like Alzheimer or
Mm.
dementia. We have the hypothesis of that, and I think it's true. But what we would have to do is getting all in one big pool of people, and then check out what happens to them in the next 20 years. And then when we see then, okay, no one gets anything like that. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be awesome to kind of see the study and the results and all that. 'Cause I don't know why they haven't done that. It seemed like it's, not too hard.
It's not too hard, but I guess it's too. I mean, we are not so many people, and it's a real long-term study, isn't it? So, I mean, we would have to wait for maybe 30 more years to get good results, but at least we have to start at some point, right?
That's true. Get some baseline. And I felt like in XMT, there was that research. You went in and you were doing those little memory tests or like mind tests.
Mhm.
Do we ever know what happened with that? Like what they were trying to figure out or use that for? Because I don't remember hearing nothing about that.
I think they might have written a paper, but to be honest, I'm also not sure about the exact results or what happens there. That's also something there have been studies around the world, but it's still like here and there is a study, but there is nothing like a program on just investigating these memory strategies. But second thing, you were talking about your daughter, and that's always very interesting to me. How old is she?
She's 5.
She's 5. So what are you teaching her? What is it what you are already doing with her in terms of memory techniques? Because I think that's also very interesting to parents or to memory athletes who have kids or whatever. So if you don't mind, share that with us, please.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to get her to do, especially with learning, a big thing is repetition with learning, right?
Mhm.
And so trying to, count the numbers. I'm not using any memory techniques right now, but like every day could go, okay, let's go 10. What number is this? What number is 20? And so kind of quizzing her, then later in the day, kind of quizzing her again, because
Mhm.
she might struggle at the beginning. She's like, I forgot, I don't know, like it's 20, then have her repeat it. Then quizzing her later, like at nighttime, and then she'll be like, okay, let's go again. And so getting that kind of repetition in. I'm starting to slowly move into the techniques where you're changing information into images and stuff like that. And so one of her goals, I believe, in school is to learn all the continents of the world. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like the land masses and have her pick out what does that look like to her.
Mhm.
So making an association. Then like Antarctica, what does that sound like? Maybe an ant, and then connecting those two together.
Mhm.
And so she has to learn the states as well. I believe the U.S. states. So that's the plan of attack right now to kind of help her with that stuff. And then of course, when it comes to trying to learn like new words, I try to help create an imagery of like, what does respect mean? Okay, let's break down respect means, you are listening, you are behaving towards someone, showing that you're grateful. And so then I try to make like a little story if it's out of like some of her cartoons she likes, or just make a story on the fly. Because at nighttime, I tell her stories all the time, and I just
Mhm.
make them up. And as you would know, imagination is a big key of it. And so I just make. I'm like, what do you want the story to be about? And she tells me, I want to be about dog. I want to be about Bluey, and then I just make the story up on the spot, and just show her that creativity. How books are great. Don't get me wrong, reread her books, but your imagination create your own stories, your own fun. And
Mhm.
so I'm trying to just get her into that creativity and imagination of stuff, and definitely try to keep her interest in learning, especially with the different science experiments and stuff like that, just to really show her, what's possible, what you could do.
Yeah, and I mean the main thing is might be that it has to be fun from day one, right? So and because very often kids, or I feel that kids enter the school and then they somehow, and before that they are, yeah, I want to learn, I would want to do something that, but then they enter school and then something happens to them and it's not fun anymore. And
Yeah.
I mean, the key is not making it a job or a work or anything, but it is like always there. You will learn something. It can be fun. It can be packed in some fun story or anything like that, and that definitely helps for kids. And I'm still wondering why all these techniques are not part of the school system. I'm not sure. Is there any progress in the US regarding that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Mhm.
I know a couple of years ago, I did go to my old high school I went to, and I would try to go in there and kind of teach the middle schoolers, some techniques and all that. But I don't think they use anything. No, they might use some techniques like without knowing it, like the ABC song or something like that, right? You're singing it, but they don't realize, hey, you could play that to other things as well, and not just the most common things you learned growing up, like ABCDEFG.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't think there's a huge thing, but I think it's just, as you would know, it's new, so people think it's hard. Oh wait, you're telling me to memorize numbers? I need a whole system. I have to memorize that first just to memorize. So kind of seems like a barrier of entry there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And many people think exactly like that. Oh, it's too much work to get into it, so I don't use it because I'm quicker when I don't have all these extra work. That's true. And I mean, Johnny, you are also not just teaching, but you have been competing for years. I'm not sure when was your last competition.
Ooh, it had to be, I think, before 2020. I think I went to France. I felt like.
Yeah.
Well, I did go to France, but I think it was in France, that memory championship.
What do you think? How are memory competitions, or how should be memory competitions connected to real life learning, or how memory competitions can help people getting aware of memory techniques and things like that? So, what do you think? What is there a connection? Is it good? Do you want this connection? Do we need this connection? So what do you think about that aspect?
That's hard, because I know for a memory competition standpoint, you kind of need the information to be unbiased, right? Like random digits, random cards. You won't know things ahead of time, and so it makes sense for a competition. You need that structure, but I think people, just like regular people, they see that they're like, "That's really cool. It's impressive." But what does memorizing numbers have to do with learning historical facts or learning literacy? So like, there's that disconnection there. That it's really cool. That'd be great if I could do that, but like, I don't really see that gap. And so I think that's been a struggle for as long as I remember and been competing. That it it does, on the surface, it doesn't seem like it relates. But as you and I both know, the skills that you're developing, you can apply that to, medical. You can apply that to vocabulary, to languages. It's just that we're in a competition specifically to memorize useless information, right? And that's
Hmm.
it. Um, and so I think if there's more events that maybe kind of bridge the gap, like, hey, like historical dates, that's something people would want to remember, like on this date, this happened.
Hmm.
So if we had kind of more events that kind of bridge things across, I think more people might see the benefit, like, hey, this is just like vocabulary, learning a new language. And so if I kind of practice these events, naturally I'll get better in this event, direct like a one-to-one, instead of trying to extrapolate, okay, this is how I memorize the cards, this is how I practice. Okay, let me take those skills out and apply it to the medical field now,
Hmm.
which requires more work and more thought to be put into. So I think competitions are good, but they also give the idea that, oh, these techniques are only for that stuff and not, useful stuff you will come across
Hmm.
every day. Besides names of faces, historical dates, those are two that you would come across, But yeah, I wish there was a better connection, because I know I was really excited going to my first competitions, just because it's cool to memorize a whole bunch of random stuff and like recall it perfectly. But when I was talking to like my friends or family, they didn't understand or see like the benefit of it. Like it's cool, but what's the point?
Yeah, but I am wondering, always wondering why we as memory athletes, as people who go to memory competitions, have to explain what the point is here. Because if you are a in athletics and you do high jump, yeah, I mean, no one would ask you what's the point. They would just, wow, you jumped 2 meters high. Wow, this is fantastic. I could do it. So why do we as memory athletes always have to explain where's the point? They are even eating competitions. I mean, what is the point here? This is and
Yeah,
or I don't know, soccer, any sport, name it, right? It's always where is the point of swimming as fast as you can? Huh? I don't have to do that in my real life. There's no situation where I need that in my real life. I don't need to
yeah.
swim. There are bridges. So that's why is that? What do you think? Why is that for memory competitions? What's the point here?
The only thing I could think of is that something like swimming, right, or running, you can see it. It's very visual.
Hmm.
But then memory stuff, even like Albert Einstein, it's all mental. You can't really see it until like you start writing out the numbers. You can't see the whole process. You can't see the growing of it, because it's all just in your mind. So maybe that lack of visual aspect of it, that maybe if there was a way to kind of see your brain like working out when you're memorizing, seeing getting buffer or something, would be like, wow, look at it, it's so amazing. Your brain's so strong, because that's what you see, with people like playing basketball. Wow, look at Michael Jordan, how he jumps, how he flies through the air. Very visual. And so maybe it's just that lack of the visual for memory training, that
Hmm.
people just kind of can't see that, because it's just you're getting better and better and better, but there's really no way. I can't just look at you because you had amazing scores. Just look at you like, man, I could just look at Johannes and he can memorize a deck of cards in like 30 seconds. I can't see that just by
Hmm.
looking at you, but you can see maybe a swimmer, how buff and built he is, right? Like, man, he's so strong. He's going to swim so fast. Just look at him. So maybe that visual aspect.
I like that. I have never thought in this direction because you're right. I mean, what we see might be that you see someone memorizing a string of digits quite quick, but you just see this guy moving through the digits, and then the person might just type it. That's all you see. But in if you have a wide angle, it doesn't matter if there is a completely newcomer or is a pro because it looks the same from the outside. And
Yes.
yeah, that's true. And like the brain pumping or something like that, that would be cool. Interesting aspect. Never thought in this direction. Cool. And I mean, you're doing memory training, memory coaching for a living, or is it just a side living, or how is it for you nowadays?
It's just a side thing for
Hmm.
sure. If someone wants to, improve their memory, if I have the time, then yeah. Um, Definitely a lot of my free time is going to trying to making the site, trying to add
Hmm.
more stuff, trying to take a new stance on it. And so, I would love for it to become bigger, more use, because I think I'm adding like a lot of stuff there to it. But yeah, it's definitely kind of on the side right now, especially with a daughter. That's kind of the top priority.
Hmm.
Just making sure she's okay, she's learning what she needs to learn. Setting the example. So definitely most energy is going into that. My
Hmm.
daughter. But yeah, that's kind of where I am right now.
And your full or your main job is like a programmer or coding? What are you doing?
I'm a property manager actually, so the code is on the site too. So yeah, there's like a lot of stuff kind of going on.
So yeah, I have a lot of side stuff doing here.
Yeah.
But and I was coming across, and you sent it to me your very interesting app, Blitz Memory. So that brought two questions to my brain. Actually, my girlfriend was asking me why Blitz, why Blitz Memory, and I was like, yeah, there's also Blitz Chess and so on.
Yep.
But isn't Blitz connected to the World War II, to Blitzkrieg, something like that? And I was like, huh. Really? And then wanted to find out how Americans or English speakers use that word because it's a German word and
Yeah.
it's not flash memory, it's blitz memory. So any insights or any thoughts on that because it just interests me.
So you're right, Bliss Chess. So that's where it came from. Now Bliss Chess. So I like chess to an extent,
Hmm.
but for me, it's just so long. Like
Hmm.
regular chess, when people can take as long as they want, you're like, you're just kind of just waiting. Bliss chess, as I looked into it more, you have like 5 minutes altogether, so it's a lot faster, quick pace, right?
Hmm.
So to me, Bliss memory is the same idea that not hour events, right? But these quick events you could do pretty fast training wise and then competing against other people. And so I think for us, blitz means like fast and hard. You're going right like a blitzkrieg, right? Just out of nowhere, going as fast as possible,
Hmm.
catch them off guard. And so for me, at least for me, that's what blitz meant to me, kind of fast, going fast.
Hmm.
So fast memory. That's kind of where that came from blitz
Yeah,
chess.
yeah, from Blitz Chess, and then I was wanted to figure out where is it coming in Blitz Chess from. So because where's the origin, and I couldn't find a different thing than the Blitzkrieg. And as a German, it's always a bit like, okay, we use that word now for Blitz Chess and Blitz memory, but actually it wasn't a good thing in our history. So that was just
Right.
yeah. That's why I was wondering how English speakers use the word blitz and they just use it as something quick and fast and
Yeah.
it sounds to be very natural. Oh,
I think so. Yeah, we don't have like any like you're saying like a negative connotation with it. It's just kind of
yeah.
go fast.
Okay, cool. And yeah, you started building this F Blitz memory. So what was your before we check it out a bit? So what was your idea behind it? What was your motivation to build it? To build it, you already said some things here, like you want to have it quick, you want to have it fast training. But it's not just about that. You also have different kind of events here than from the traditional format. So what was your intention with that, and why did you choose what you choose?
I think there's nothing against the traditional events that you have at a memory competition, but as you would know, being on like game shows, excuse me, there's different things they have you memorize that are weird and not normal, and I kind of like that aspect that what you could train that's not the traditional. Like my game show in China, I had to memorize cow patterns. And my life consisted for like a couple of weeks of just trying to figure out the system and like practicing memorizing them. Which, as you, me both know, kind of similar to abstract images to a degree. Um, but it was that like, hey, there's so many different ways you could test your memory that's outside of the normal standard competition events. And so I like to take that approach of making it weird and different. There was times where I would go to the store and just try to memorize grocery prices and the product, or going to the library memorizing the book and the author. Excuse me. And so I always been in my training just having a weird way to train it, just test my memory in this different aspect. That's not the same way I've been used to. How can I adjust? Can I use previous systems? Can I modify previous systems and apply them here? Or is this something you can't ever use the system for because it's just too much work? So how can you do it on the spot? And so I really like that idea. So as you would know, some of those events are really different. I think the one that's like Tetris, Blocktris, that one, like, it's just so different. And because I was watching, I think the Tetris World Championships, and these people get to like level 30, level 40, and these blocks are like whoop, whoop, just falling so fast. I was like, what if that's a memory event? What if you have to memorize where they're landing and the block type and the position? And so, I assume no one from Tetris is memorizing that because that's not their skill, right? It's just how to organize it. But from my perspective as a memory athlete, how can I test myself? What would be a good challenge with Tetris? And so yeah, so I just like kind of pushing the limits, kind of doing something that's different. And I'm just trying to add more to the site as well. Like there's even a part of the site where I'm trying to get more kind of random memory challenges. If people want to go learn, they can just go learn it. I'm trying to put them in more languages too. So I'm just trying to have just as much resources as possible. Someone wants to go and they want to just do memory challenges. They want training. That's fine too. Oh, you want to do some training? That's fine too. Whatever you need, I just kind of want to have it there, And so there's a lot of stuff going in the works right now too that I have just because I think it would be cool, and hopefully other people think it would be cool too. But yeah, a lot of things I'm excited for.
Yeah, and I guess is AI already helping you when it comes to programming?
It is helping. I am not connecting AI to the database. No, because I read stories that the AI sometimes it clears your database and poof, it's gone.
Okay, I
So
see.
yeah, not that, but yeah, definitely getting ideas or helping with the coding. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, let's check that out here a bit. You see my screen?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go first with what you described here. There was the Blocktris, right? So this was it. I didn't try it yet. So let's show our viewers what it is, and then talk a bit about how to approach something like that. And you always have this countdown, and then let's see what it is. I have no clue. I somehow know what it is because you told me. Okay, it's just a block. It's going down, and then can I play Tetris here? No.
No. So you're just waiting for it to hit the bottom. You might want to zoom out, I think.
I see. Okay, sorry. Yeah, like this.
Keep it. Yeah. So it's just gonna fall down. So that's where it landed. You have to memorize that block. Landed there. Okay.
Okay. The position.
And so then the next one's coming. This is where it gets more fun. So you're doing the exact same thing. You're trying to memorize it.
Yes.
Right. And then the other ones disappear. So you don't get a visual of the whole grid. They start disappearing when the new block lands.
And there is the, not the problem, but this is the what makes it more difficult then, of course. Okay, and you wait for the whole minute, and that's cool. It's not gone. It's still kind of here, but it's
still there.
Yeah, I see. Okay, let's go to so we have that, and then I know this was starting, and it was like something like here.
I think so.
Or was it? I went to the left. Already struggling, and then there was this guy. Okay, wait. I go there. Okay, cool. Nice visualization. And then there was the third guy coming here, and this was, how can I rotate? Nice. No.
So rotate it and click it.
You have to click it again, like this.
Yep.
Okay. And then I think it might have been here. And the last one was not landing.
So you don't have to remember that because it's not landed.
Let's see. Okay, that is already wrong.
You got 2 out of 3 though.
Why is it wrong? It was one to the left here. Okay, you see, it's 2 out of 3. It's not too bad. But okay, we were talking and things, and you will learn what to or how to adapt to this, to that here. So, what would be your strategy? I mean, what's your first? Well, maybe I would say, because you might have already a strategy here. So my first thing would be having something like for the tiles, for the little tiles here. I have one image or one thing, and then for the position something else, like position 3, the line, the long one, the long bar, for example, or for position number, I don't know, 5 or 4 is the corner, something like that. So is it something how you would start with that, or how would you start?
I would. I don't have a full system. I know I would probably have an image for every position or orientation of the block. So I'll know how to try to think, So every single combination, I would have a position, except the square. The square is the same every way. So you're lucky there. So yeah, so like this owl piece would be, maybe like a elephant or something, right? And then like say if it was rotated, that would be something else. Maybe it start with the owl too.
I
Maybe
see.
it'd be like a llama.
Yeah.
See, like there, maybe that's a llama. And so that's how I memorize those pieces. The positioning, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what would be the best way to do it, because I don't know if a memory palace is even useful here, because it's like a physical grid, right? That you're trying to remember. And so you need the coordinates of kind of the grid, but at the same time, it's not filling all of the spaces, only those specific squares, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So I would have had here the first one is all this type of this type of, how do you call it? Shape tile, or what is the name
Shape,
here? Shape.
block.
Yeah, block. Yeah, exactly. And so what I tried here was like the first one was this, for me was a sofa, and it was position number 6. I would call here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it was kind of here.
So lift it up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that.
Okay.
And then I think there was the llama, which is this guy, and was into position number 3, I think. Maybe I'm already wrong here. And then there was another block like the llama. No, the sofa again. I don't know. I think the sofa again. But I didn't actually memorize anything yet here anymore. Maybe like this. It's really cool to struggle on these things. To be honest, I like it too, because it's like, okay, you have failed. The llama is this way around. Yeah, but that would be like I would have the block as an image, and then the position, and then I would go with a memory palace actually.
You think so? Like the first block in the first location with the position and so on?
Yeah, something like that. Let's go for a practice round, because I think you can do it quicker then.
Yes, so that's what happens. So this one's different than most of them. As you get better, it falls faster. So the other ones, they're based on amount. The better you get, the more you try to memorize in the same minute. This one, the better you get, the faster they're going to fall.
Okay, let's go for something, and I try to memorize that. Let's see if that just fails again. 300 is 300 milliseconds. Is it fast?
It's a Disney speed.
Okay, and I will go with some kind of image I make something up for the tile, for the shape, and for the position. I take my number, and then I put it in my memory palace. Let's go. I just can embarrass myself here, but that's good. That's fine. Let's see. Okay, and okay, this is I don't know, an alien head on number 2, the alien with Noir. This is the sidewalk alien on number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, alien 7. Okay, 7. Again an alien, but it's looking in the other right direction on number 9. Okay, again an alien. What is that? Too many aliens on 7. Okay, I think you see. And then this is, I don't know, a roof on number 2. And what is that? I don't know. This is an extra bad L on number 7, and I think this is yellow. Here is that. Yeah, I think that's it will be just a mess here. Okay, okay. I think not preparing anything is already a problem. But have you memorized everything?
No, I don't have my system set in place yet.
Yeah,
No.
me
So don't
neither.
feel bad.
Okay, then let's go with the alien, which was the rotated alien. This guy, that was on number 2. So then we had an alien, but that was a bit looking different. Was this guy on number 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess like this. How is it? Ah, here. And then there was another alien.
There was like 4.
But that was, I think that was on number 9 first. And then there was another alien, like the first alien. And that was somehow, I don't know, here. And the rest is like gone. Okay, I get at least the first
Hey, you
aliens
got
were.
3.
But that's fun. That's definitely fun. And I mean, it's something you can make up, right? You can make up a system and try to use that, and you will get better quick. But what I also like about it right now is you see as a viewer is that as a memory athlete, if I don't have any system, if I don't have any idea to approaches, and if I have no, I don't know, I'm not here like focus guy or anything like that, then it's really like normal people sometimes. It's like I cannot do that on spot. So we are no robots. It's not like we memorize everything what we see because some people
Yep.
I feel some people think that we do that, but it's not. It's not the case. We are just human beings like you and me, but we create strategies. We create
Yes.
things to memorize stuff. That's the point, and then we train that, and then we get better. Cool.
Exactly. There's work involved.
It is. It is. So what else? What else do you like most? What I liked also was the sound things here. Can you tell us a bit about sounds? Why sounds? Because in the memory competitions we have just like spoken numbers. So
Yeah.
someone is reading out loud numbers 5, 8, 6, and so on. But this is different. So what was the idea behind sounds here?
The idea was that, excuse me, that we're using a different sense, right? Because, like you said, spoken numbers was one of the events where you're hearing something, but all of the other events are just purely visual, right? As you're memorizing numbers, cars, names, faces, words. And so sounds gets you to think differently because sounds can be very similar to each other depending on where you hear it, right? So say if you have maybe like jingle bells and then you just hear like a church bell, yes, separately they might be very distinct, but when you're memorizing and how you memorize, you're like, oh no, you're like another bell. You're like, okay, which bell was it at this point? Like, was it the higher pitch dink? Was it like a dink dink? Like, so it makes you think a lot more on, okay, I can't just memorize it just for face value because all these other sounds might be similar. They might mix together, depending on your images. Like, this bell sounds maybe kind of like a train track or something. And so I really like having that other part of your brain working, the auditory. It's just a really cool thing. And now, I believe me, if there was a way, I have not found it. I think it's impossible online to have touch as an event, some sort of
Ah.
texture event, but it
Mm-hmm.
have to be in person. But if there was a way to get that on a website somehow, I would have it, Johannes, because it just excites me to have these different things that test you differently. Not just visually. Now this is auditory. So EchoPic has an image and a sound. Sounds just has pure sounds. So I like kind of mixing everything together. just to kind of see how it works, what plans you come up with, strategies. So I really like that kind of challenge.
Nice. So yeah, let's take a look on the one of these challenges here. So Ecopig is I think it was an image and a sound, right? So, and I feel like this is very natural. You try to, well, when I tested it, it was like, okay, I see the image, and for the sound, I also have kind of an image. Because if you think about it, I feel that everyone has something coming up to the mind when you hear something, right? Let's go inside. I'm not sure if you hear it, but the viewers definitely do. So I think you should also. But let's see. So yeah, let's test that. So there's an image and there is a sound, and we have to connect the sound to the image, or yeah, like this. As someone snoring in the little house here. That would be my. There was a machine producing the butterflies. That was a very, very annoying bird hacking into the blue wall here. Wow, what a big city! Someone was shooting that thing here, and there was a bell. A bell. This is surrounded by a bell. Did you hear the sounds, by the way?
I did not. No.
Okay, sorry. I'm not sure how that would work, but anyway, I was describing it. Let's go for the recall. And the fun thing is now this was the machine. No, that was that. I goes click.
Double click.
Yeah, next one. That was the little annoying bird. That was this guy. Then the bells. That was right. Then the shooting. That was this. Yeah, and then we have wow. Actually, someone vomiting anyway. So, and then there was a snoring. Yeah, like this. And then should be all right. No, all wrong. Why?
Was it wrong?
No, actually, I'm right.
Maybe just a visual bug.
Okay.
No, I don't know. That's interesting. I'm checking out my side now.
It's fine. And debugging, right? Debugging is also important. And for all these
Yes.
actually, I think I had everything right. Okay. Didn't get the level. Cool. But the idea, you get the idea, I guess. And it's a good thing for you to check that again. Or did I click something wrong? Did I do something?
No, you did everything you should have done. I just think there was just something. So I know it doesn't matter in this context, but when it comes to like updating the site and putting new stuff, things usually, have an issue, a hiccup here and there.
Sure, I know that. I'm also kind of trying things with some programming and coding with the help of AI, but it's sometimes you fix something and then you have on the other end you have something else. But it's definitely fun, a lot of fun. Let's go for these sounds. This is sounds in a specific order, right?
Yes.
So I'm here level 3, 10 sounds, and okay. Can I make you hear that? Let's see. I think it should also work. I should give you my sound as well. Do you know that on Zoom? Here. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think now like this. Okay, let's see. I think you might hear it. If not, just relax for another second or a couple of seconds. So let's go.
Yep.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, an alien again. There was a little horse on my toilet. Oh, that was quite similar to number 2. Kind of. But yeah, so that is a bit higher. It's in my bath tube. Net. This is Doctor Who, I don't know. This is someone playing tennis, and oh, this is someone wanting my money. Okay, that's cool. Let's go for the recall. So the first thing, Okay, this is also something. I don't want to go through everything and then click to it. I would try to put it on the right location right away, because otherwise I'm listening to everything again and again and again, and I think then I would start mixing things up.
Ah, that makes sense.
So that was the Doctor Who guy. So then we have the bells. It was on 1, 2, 3, 4. This is because I have a memory palace. Then we have, this was, I think that was in my bass tube. So that would be here. This was number 3. This was this little pony on my toilet. I think number 3, 4, no, number 6. Number 6. I think that was number 1. This was number 2. Maybe. Here's something wrong. How can I get rid of that?
So you double click the sound in the middle
Ah,
between the two arrows.
I see. Okay. So if I go, okay, this was number 1, is right? I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Here. I think this one. Then is this number 7. And this is number 10. Let's see if that worked. That worked. Cool. And I rank up to little silver. Nice. I like these little.
Thanks.
It's so satisfying, and it's like a bit like, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I got something. Cool. 10 out of 10. Nice. That's also cool. And what I also like about it is that people. What I said is that you have something on your mind. You hear the sound and you make something out of this sound, which is really a bit of a different story from just seeing images, but it's also definitely something people can rely to. I like it. I like it. Yeah, it's really cool. So level 5 would be next year. Cool. And you have also, of course, leaderboards and things. So people are playing. You are number 1, maybe everywhere. I'm on number 3 already on the numbers. Okay, but this is this is quite easy. So sounds number 2 already. So it looks like that people are just getting started with it. Is it like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what is your or how do you what is your plan for that? So you now, if you sign up for this, you can train for free for a couple of attempts, and then I think you have also a membership, of course. What is your plan for the next year for this tool for you?
So it's just to keep expanding and adding new things. Like you can see right there, palaces. So I know, as you would know too, the biggest thing when you use a memory palace, especially with majority of the events, right? You run out very fast. And so that's super annoying. And all of these palaces I personally use. So it's not just like I got something random, like here, hopefully it works together. But all these I've used. And so I'm trying to give as many resources as possible. So if someone's ready and they're willing and they want to train, boom, they could go start training. They have the palaces. They don't have to go create them. If they don't have it, and they can just start right away. And so there's a lot of, stuff I have kind of planned out, trying to figure out trying to remember when I was first starting off, what would have been useful, what would make it the whole process easier to start training and all of that. And so one of the things I am excited for, maybe, let me see, maybe I could share this.
Another palace, or what do you mean?
Another feature to the site.
Okay, I just want to 1 second. I just want to give you a short insight here for everyone who doesn't know what a memory palace is, just to give a wider knowing here about it. So what Johnny did, and I like it a lot, is that he has done some videos here for, I think it's some virtual houses, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
and then he has the videos here. And for example, a memory palace could start with that big bass tube here, And I think
Yep.
what is your second location here exactly?
That heater, I think
The
it's a heater.
heater, okay. And number 3 is
That patio area.
this
There's
area.
a table.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah. Number 4 is
It looks like that vase.
that looks like that vase there. Very good. Yeah, yeah. And then you might have okay, the board or anything like that. So the
Yep.
idea of the memory palace is that you have the best way, to be honest, is still in your own home or at your own house or people things you know very well. It can be your house, it can be your workplace, your school or whatever, and then you make a walk through it and you pick locations along this walk, like we did here, the bus tube, then the heater, and then this area, and so on. And this is your memory palace, and this you can use then later to memorize stuff. So if you want to look that up, just check out Memory Palace or Blitz Memory. I put it below my video description here, and but you also find a lot of that Memory Palace, very famous stuff. Look it up; it's really worth taking a look into. Yeah, cool. And here on this website, you have a lot of prepared memory palaces. So you just pick one and then you go for it. I like that. That's cool. Double shower. What is double shower? Okay. Anyway, the names are very interesting. Cool.
I had to, because I'm trying to not use the same thing, right? Like a bed as the
Sure.
palace, right?
Sure.
Trying to use something that stands out in the palace itself.
I see.
So yeah,
Okay.
these names gotta get weird because I'm like, okay, let's make it unique so it stands out in my mind when I try to find a palace I want to use.
Cool. But that's a great idea. I like it a lot, and it gives people the opportunity to. You don't have to use all of them. Just take one and go. That's it.
Yep,
Okay. Yeah,
exactly.
Johnny, you wanted to share something.
Yes. So it's already kind of there in just a standard 1v1 where as you know, as you compete against someone head on.
Hmm? The-
So yeah, so let me see. Can I share my screen?
yeah,
I do
sure.
not
I
know.
stopped. I stopped that one. You can go ahead then.
Uh, how do you share? Minimize
On the
small.
bottom, there should be a share option, and then you can choose a screen or a
Oh,
window.
yes. Let's see. I have to do the whole screen, I think. Okay, you're probably gonna see yourself some sort of.
Okay.
I don't know what this is. What? Okay, we go this. Okay. Can you see what I'm seeing?
The 4 windows, all Blitz
Yes.
memory. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to take a different take on the competing against each other because, as you know, there's not really much you could do to your competitors, right? When you're memorizing, you're just memorizing, recalling, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So like basketball, you try to stop the person from scoring. Same thing in football and tennis, you're trying to score on the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Memory competitions don't really have that in there, right? Where you can actually interact with your competitor.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I wanted to do was try to have that component of some sort of interaction. Now, excuse me. Now, one thing I know this about all competitions up until this point that I'm aware of is that there's a real big focus on memorization, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
this amount of information, you have an hour, memorize. That's it. But then recall, okay, recall, for an hour event, you have 2 hours, which is a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, I felt like recall was getting missed out because recalling is just as important as memorizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say you can memorize a deck of cards in 10 seconds, incredible. But what if it takes you a whole week to recall that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it as awesome? That's up to the person to decide, right? Yeah, you memorize in 10 seconds, but it took you a whole week to recall it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
But what I did was for competition, when you're competing against somebody, that if you finish recalling, the person's time that they have remaining gets cut in half.
Oh
Okay?
wow. So you mean the
So
recall time?
their recall time gets cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
And so this isn't live yet. It's going to be live this week. So right now, I just have 1v1, but I'm adding 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. You have 4 people going against each other at one
Mm-hmm.
time. And so you can see how this, with the recalling, would make a huge difference, because if you're the last person, you're going to have the least amount of time to recall
Ah,
anything, right?
it's tough one. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Right? And so right now, don't worry, because this is like actually in production or in development. So the times are like shorter and recall
Sure.
time is a lot longer, just because I'm trying to have more time to test some things.
Sure.
And don't worry about the layout stuff, just because it's a weird layout. It's just weird.
It's just for
So okay,
testing. Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
okay. So
if you click done now for one person, the
yep.
others would get half of the recall time. Wow.
So you get a flash because you
Yeah.
need to know something happened, right?
Yes.
And then you click again, and then you click again.
Yeah, it's a very cool idea. I know a lot of people who were like, "Wow, this is destroying me" or something. And I
Like,
mean, how do you handle something like you did right now, just distracting people here by clicking very quick? It doesn't matter, right? If you haven't recalled anything, just click finish. It's your problem, not the other ones. Yeah,
I guess so, right? But you still have to recall something, right? If you definitely want to try to
sure.
win still. But definitely as a person who's taking their time, now you're like, oh, okay, I gotta go faster, because some people take the full time. So recall is 5 minutes. So in regular
Hmm.
versus, you're gonna have 5 minutes. So one person recalls, that knocks you down to 2.5 if they recall literally right away. And then if someone does it again, then that's going to take you to 115,
Hmm.
right? And then if they do it again, and this is, of course, all if someone just recalled instantly, if it was possible. So if someone
Hmm.
recall it one more time, that would be, what is that? 30, 40 seconds?
Hmm.
40,
Uh,
35?
you mean 115 by divided by 2?
Two, yeah.
Yeah,
And
75,
like,
so 37.5.
right? So
Yeah,
if somehow everyone would just finish right away, and the last person, they would only have about, what would you say was 30 some seconds?
37.5. Yeah.
You would have 37.5 seconds to recall everything.
Hmm.
And so I there's just something about that, Johannes, that I just love the idea of just people like, oh my god, because as you know, people like taking their time to recall,
Hmm.
which I understand. Your images might be fuzzy, especially if you're going really fast, right? It's just it just adds to the challenge of it all, right? That now you're being tested on your recall speed and accuracy, not just purely memorization.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Um, Animals. Yeah, that was also something what is it the names of the animals? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
an, I was like, what is a yarrow? This is not a yarrow. Ah, the name is a yarrow. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So for some of the events, I'm trying to add like a twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for, of course, face and names, you just have human names, but animals, I just thought it was a fun idea to memorize animals' names, because they have weird names that aren't really traditional, in the sense of like what you would call a person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So animals has it. I am thinking it's in the works now. So for images, you're trying to memorize as many images as possible, but an idea I have is trying to memorize colors, because as you
Mm-hmm.
know, depending on which color you're seeing before and after, they might look similar to other colors or might look completely different,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I think that one's definitely a good one to kind of just add into the mix, because it's just gonna test you on focusing on what you're seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like really paying attention. Is this really red, or is this like a darker shade of red, or does it just look darker because white was a color you saw before? So, yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm really excited for
but I
that.
think that is rather for very colors which are very close to each other. Is it? I mean, the challenge would have been to be configured like that. Like you have one color and the next color directly to the next color and so on. I don't know, but it's definitely interesting.
Right. So I did think exactly what you thought, but I was like, okay, that's too mean. Using like technically it's a different shade, but it looks the same. I was like, that's too mean to do to people.
Mm.
Okay. I was like, let's not do that. At least have some differences in the color, right? So like even if you have like a red, the next version of red or whatever colors after red should be distinct enough so you don't mix it up naturally.
How
So
and for that, what you have done here with the four different people playing, who wins in the end? Is it the one with the let's say everyone has the same amount recalled correctly within the time, so then the fastest recall time wins?
correct. Yep. So
Okay.
it goes based off of score first, whoever has the highest score percentage wise.
Hmm.
And then if that's a tie, it's going to go down to the recall, who was the
Hmm.
fastest at recalling. So it does have a role still, the recall in scoring, but maybe most of the time memorization is going to be like maybe the main factor of the scoring, but at least that's not Euro. But at least it has it in there that the recall does have an importance, that it does break the tie.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand. What I personally, I'm always a bit like, okay, if it's about typing speed, then it's a bit tough to have that. Especially when I think about myself, I'm not a quick typer because my fingers are not working that properly anymore. So that would be a disadvantage for everyone who has
Mm,
a lower typing speed, for example. It's not such a big thing if you click on cards, for example, like bringing them
yep.
in the right order or images is also possible. Even numbers might be okay if you have a pet or something, but if it comes to typing information, you have to type quite quickly, and then it's part of that is a physical thing, which I personally don't like this so much. But in general, I like the idea of having the recall somehow included. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
No, so I did think about that at times too. I was like, well, what if? Because I'm terrible at spelling. So I'm just naturally slow when it comes to spelling names or words. Like, okay, how do you even spell this? But you're right. Cause I was trying to think like, how? What if someone doesn't really type that great or anything like that, and they're not going to have that advantage? And I could not think of anything in regards to having this timing being halved. I could not think of any way around that.
Mhm.
Like, is there a way you could give someone like a handicap, right? Like maybe their time gets cut less. But I was like, well, you gotta keep it fair with everyone, right? That's like the whole point, to make sure
Mhm.
competition is fair. So I was like, well, that time difference, someone having an extra minute could be the difference of them getting everything completely done. Um, so if you have any recommendations,
Yeah.
that would be great, because I
Yeah.
did think about it. I could not figure it out for the life of me. But the part of me, the other part of me was like, well, this is a new aspect to training, right?
Mhm.
To competing, that you have to keep that in mind. Now, recall does matter. You don't want to be the slowest because you might just run out of time because you don't have enough time anymore. But if you could train the speed at which you're recalling, okay, like, are you just gonna have confidence what you're putting down is 100%? You're not reviewing anymore, right? You're like, this is it, boom, go. That can make a big difference on your opponents now, because now you took more time compared to if you did spend time reviewing before you said you were
Mhm.
done, right? So I like that aspect, that it does have recall plays a role in some aspect now.
Mhm.
But like you said, for fairness, I just cannot figure it out. I just don't know if it is possible or not, based off how it's set up, or the idea of having recall play a role. So do you have any ideas on how to make it fair? Because you're right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like, oh, that's not an issue. You're 100% right. If someone does have an issue typing, right, that shouldn't be the factor why they might lose something just because they couldn't type fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I don't have a solution, especially for that, because I think that is if typing speed is crucial at some point, then it is like that. So you cannot work around it. You can have different kind of competitions where it's not the case. But if you want to get recall involved, I think one thing is if you really want to make it as even as possible for everyone is don't do any kind of words discipline where or names where you have to type so much, but for like clickable things like images, cards, numbers maybe because it's quite quick. But on the other hand, I also like, I mean, there are many competitions regarding memory, and I don't have to compete in all the competitions, right? So because there are already a lot of them, and if there is a discipline, I mean, I wouldn't do chess boxing as well. It's there, but I wouldn't do that because
Yes.
yeah. So there is a discipline, and you developed it with your ideas, and it's fair that it's there. I mean, I don't have to compete if I feel it's not really 100% what I can do, but it's there and it's worth trying it, and some people will like it. So I'm kind of very open to all these new ideas. I don't have to compete everywhere. I'd like to, but if it's partly also about typing speed, then it's part of the competition. I would always try to not have that in a world championship, in as one of the disciplines in a traditional format, because then it would be a problem. But you know what I mean? So that's my thought on that. Yeah, and
No, that's great insight because you're right. Like you're not gonna go boxing, right? Or if that's not your forte, or sprinting, or swimming. Like I can't swim, so no, I'm not going to no swimming competition anytime soon. But
exactly. So it's cool to find a way around it. That's great if you have it, but it's not always possible. What I also thinking about right now is like, or what I'm building on is like a game where you have some kind of rounds principle. For example, for numbers, you have everyone starting with round one, and then you have like something like 20 digits or 5 words, anything, and then you memorize it and then you recall it, but the recall time itself is the same for everyone.
okay,
So you have like 1 minute recall time and it's just running. But after you finish your recall, you can check, okay, I'm 2 seconds behind. In the next round, I have to go a bit quicker, something like that. So that would be the interaction. You would see how far you are behind, like a Formula One race or anything. And
okay.
that's one point about it. The second point is you could do some kind of penalty rounds. So if you have one mistake, like for numbers, if you have one in one round, you have one mistake, you go for a penalty round, which is like 6 digits or something like that. You have to go for that. It's for like, I don't know, biathlon. I don't know the word in English. There's when you go skiing, there is one Olympic discipline. They go skiing and they shoot between the rounds. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, I think I do.
Shooting
Yeah, yeah.
and skiing. So there's always if they miss in the shooting, they have to go a penalty round, something like that, which would still focus on memorization. Recall is excluded in the first place, but you can have kind of an interaction because you can see how far you are behind. Next round, you have to speed up, things like that. And the second thing what I have is there also recall time counting. So I have another mode where the total time counts. You have memorization, you have recall, total time counts. And that's just another mode. It's good to have it there, and I mean people can decide what they want to play. But it's still possible to just do memorization counting. That's basically the idea. So I think there are many ideas, and it's great to talk to someone today about these things.
No, that's awesome. And so for the rounds, are you saying like, okay, you go into this match, there's like 3 rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after each round concludes, there's like downtime in between for you to
The,
adjust or try to figure out.
so I mean, there's of course a check for if your round was correct or not, because otherwise you couldn't give away the penalties. And then there could be any kind of 5 seconds, 10 seconds break or something, just for you to get to see where the others are and how far you're behind or ahead or anything like that. And then you can adapt your next round maybe and go quicker or slower. And I'm trying to build something like you have different length of the rounds. So for the very beginner, it's just 6 digits per round, 3 rounds, that's a sprint, 18 digits, done, right? But for the pro level, it's the maximum is 100 digits per round and 50 rounds. So it's like 5,000 digits, which sounds insane. I'm not sure if I will ever do it, but
What?
there's a lot of room between it, right? So there's the first round three times six, and then it's improving. You can play 10 times 25 or something like that. And I feel that that could be definitely something also for visualization. Like you see a bar growing or something, or the audience sees, okay, this guy is now in round number 60 or 16, as other guys already round 17, something like that. Something, and that's what when we come back to the beginning, something to visualize what people are doing, to somehow make it possible to grab. That's the idea. So yeah, just playing around with these ideas and trying to build something there. Yeah.
Interesting. No, I like that. And yeah, you're giving me a lot of good ideas to try to, because like you said, you can't please everyone, or you can't make everything. Well, I mean, eventually you can if you make your site big enough, whatever, you can have it all. But yeah, it's just, I did not think about that, how much it could be a hindrance, if you're just slow, or if you're even typing in a different language. 'Cause I know, do you
Mm.
sometimes type in a different language as well? Some events are like English or all German or.
No, I always do German because I my English is okay, it was good, but for writing, I would never have a chance against anyone who is a native speaker in writing English. It's not possible.
Right.
Even in memorization, when I would memorize words in English, even if I would know all the words, it would be slower because my brain, of course, needs to adapt to the different language here. And
Yeah.
but for example, the Japanese players in Memory League, they always have this problem that if they want to enter something in their keyboard, they need to do some kind of conversion into kanji. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's like they search for the right kanji letter and then they
Okay.
put it in. So it takes longer naturally for them. But
Wow.
as you said, it's not about pleasing everyone at once. It's about thinking or having a good idea and working on that idea, not making it too big, because I already feel if I think about what I can do, I think, oh, I can do that and this, and then I will never finish anything. So get started with something, do that, and if that is done and you have it out there, you can start with another thing. But having too many modes at the same time, that will kill your efficiency, I guess.
I see what you mean. And let me ask you, Johannes, do you feel like when it comes to competition that there is that lack of interaction between competitors? Because like football, that's what makes it exciting, right? Or soccer, football,
Hmm.
it's just like there's something happening because you could visually see, oh, this person's trying to stop this person. Is this person going to make it? Memory, as you know, you're just no, you're not doing anything. So do you feel like there should be some sort of interaction between players? Like you can affect them, you can stop them in a way, or what do you think about that?
I mean, first point is that there are other sports like in athletics, right? Like you run 100 meters. Of course, you have someone next to you, but in the end, there is not a real
Hmm.
interaction. Or high jump, long jump, all these sports. You just know the other one's result and then you do your own stuff. So it's not
Hmm.
something new in memory sports that we just have it for ourselves. Um, so that's why I'm trying to think how to visualize it better. Like a high jump for numbers or for words, you would have 10 seconds and then you memorize 10 digits. And then if you get it right in recall time, very short, like 10 seconds, then you go to the next height, 15 digits, then 20 digits. The memorization time stays the same, but you increase. And you could give every competitor a nice stage. You like say, okay, now this guy, he's going to the stage and now he's starting to memorize. Oh, 20 digits. Can he make it? And then you can even commentate on that, like, like in a high jump competition. And so this is one point. You can do that in a different way. But on the other hand, I also feel, yeah, having some kind of more interaction is definitely something which we could think of. And you have done that here already with cutting recall in half, or I mean, in Memory League, we at least have something like you choose a different discipline, which your opponent is not so good at, or something like that. It's also something. Um, and then, I mean, there could be something like you memorize something, and depending on how much you memorize, you're giving the other one not half of the recall time, but additional stuff to memorize, something like that. So like you memorize 20 words, you get them all right, so the other one gets more words next time or something like so. Going up, like you memorize 10, if you get them right, the other one has to memorize 12. And if you get something wrong, the other one has to memorize less. Things like that. Maybe, but it's really,
Yeah.
I mean, the options are infinite, but it's hard to come up with something and bring it to life. I think that's the point.
Yeah, I agree because one thing that comes to my mind always is chess. Chess
Hmm.
is probably the biggest mental sport out there, right?
Hmm.
And the only thing I can really see that makes it more engaging is that you can see both of the people trying to stop each other or taking pieces, right? Like there's that kind of battle. But still, at the end, it's mental, right? You're trying to plan ahead, try to figure out where to put your pieces, where to go put their pieces, maybe. And so like I look at chess, I'm like, okay, everything you said totally makes sense. And I'm like, what can we do that's similar to chess to memory so people can have that, you know, watching the battle going on between these two people. And some of the things you said make sense, like if it is something like the long jump, they keep, okay, go higher now. Then you got more digits, more digits. When do you cap out? It has like a little more visual aspect than just traditional, like if you're just memorizing a sheet of numbers or a deck of cards. Deck of cards is always fun because in person, because it's a visual thing, right? Someone has a deck and they're going through it. And so I can see why cards is kind of like the standout event for memory competitions, or is like the most popular because you can just do that like at a party, right? You can just do it for a trick. It's a visual thing. And so when it comes to the competing wise, it's always so hard to try to make something that's gonna be fair for everyone and not limit someone just because maybe they're not that great or they have bad vision or something like that. And so, but the ideas you gave are really interesting and does at least have some interaction there. And I
Yeah.
feel like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Go ahead.
there you go. You're good.
And I think it's really about visualization, as you said. And you can nowadays we have the opportunity to visualize everything, don't we? It's like
Yeah,
we have computers, so we can make everything somehow exciting. And if it's just a bar growing because you memorized more or something, it's also already something. So we have the opportunity to visualize things, and that's something we should do. And so it's not just about cards. Cards is only because it's visual, but it's only visual
yeah,
because it's with physical cards. But nowadays you can they make everything somehow visual. I think that's definitely possible. Yeah. And yeah, Johnny, something more about your tool. Anything else you want to show us on that? Something what we missed?
let me take a look. um,
Any
so
other discipline you want to share, or just it's up to you.
in discipline,
If
for the
you,
most part, most of the
hmm,
disciplines are kind of standard, like decimal
hmm,
names, echo pick sounds, the Blocktris, biography. They're a little bit different. I got biography because of the Tea Party event at the USA
hmm,
Memory Championship.
hmm.
The worst, the worst, like how they present it and you're trying to memorize and they're speaking. Definitely like one of the hardest like events. But the way I trained was I would get one biography and try to memorize it as fast as possible, just to see how much time I could try to how much how many people I have to memorize as fast as possible and just spend or the rest of the time just reviewing. Ignoring everyone else but just reviewing.
I see. I think we have to explain it a bit more. Yeah. So in the Tea Party, you as a viewer, you just see people coming up on the stage and telling the competitors something about their life, their hobbies, their place of living, their
Yeah,
birthday, and so on. But as a competitor, you have all these stuff also on a sheet of paper, right?
yeah,
And that's yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was missing in the beginning. So as a competitor, you have that all also on a sheet of paper, so you can study and review. And I mean, wouldn't it be a nice idea to have it not on a sheet of paper? And maybe it's not a nice idea, but it would definitely grow the challenge, wouldn't it?
It worked. Now it's like spoken data.
Yeah,
So that's true, but it's also how fast they're speaking, right? And
sure.
if you're understanding fully like what they're saying, maybe they have like an accent, and so now you're thrown off. But that would make 100% way harder. All you have is that, and once they're gone, that's it. You have no
Yeah,
other type of review. Um, so yeah, no, you're right, and that's the idea behind the biography event because of that
I
event.
see. I see. Okay.
Yeah,
And any plans from your side to go back to any kind of competition?
I think slowly trying to get back into training now that my daughter is in school, so there's kind of more there. Um, I would definitely love to have competitions with Blitz Memory in itself. What I would like to do too is there's not like a standard yet, so maybe people can help figure that out. Would it be like a standard Blitz Memory competition? But I would like to have just kind of weekly tournaments of just like, okay, we're doing the images. This is the images weekly tournament, and all you're doing is just training images. Because I feel like not everyone loves the events. Me personally, I don't like names, especially international names. That is it's its own monster. Uh, but this gives people a chance to compete in events they like.
Hmm.
If they want to just do images or just sounds, why not have that? But at least allow them to have a title too. Hey, you're the best in images. You're the best in sounds event. Because like you said, with the little rank images popping up, it's a nice feeling you get. Like I did something, I got the next level. I'm that much better than I was before. So I feel like that's what I want to do too with like competitions and tournaments, that they could just be individual events and people could just trade them as well. And so hopefully once that gets going, um, I'll partake in that as well. But yeah, I do need to get back. I do need to revisit my systems, get my palaces a little bit more stronger. But I do want to get back into it, and hopefully, I could get my daughter kind of seeing. And as you know, it's not like I could talk to her when I'm memorizing. It's very difficult. But maybe she could just like stand on the side and just kind of just watch. Um, so yeah, so I do want to get back into it, and I do want to show my daughter too. Like you can push yourself mentally as well, not just physically, because she's in karate. So she kind of gets a little aspect of like discipline and learning that, but um, memory wise, this is what controls everything. Like you could push this in any aspect. You push it in learning, you could push it in memory training, you could push it in problem solving. Whatever it is, you could push it. So I do want to be that example for her.
Very cool. Very cool. So, yeah, Johnny, thank you very much for joining me here today. Anything else you want to share, you want to talk about today? It's up to you.
Um, Definitely, if anyone has ideas, they can let me know. I'm trying to, like you said, there's a point where you have too many modes. If
Hmm.
it's not polished, it's bad. But anything that's simple to add, that'll be nice. Because like one thing I did add to the site is kind of tracking your progress. So if you go, to the dashboard, you have your events progress. And we should use this one so it actually has
Yeah,
data.
I can see it here on my screen. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
Cool.
So, you can have your data. Then you can go to your profile and you can actually set your goals that you have. And
Hmm.
so if you look back here, let me see what's a good one. So right now my goal for images is to do 40 images in the minute.
Hmm.
And so there's some nice metrics there. This is not like a super huge component that's going to take so much thinking to figure out, but I just like having, me personally, I like having a graph, just kind of see where I am, what I'm doing, what my goal is, if I'm heading it. And so if people have any suggestions, any ideas, definitely if they're simple enough to add, I'll try to just add it right away because I think it's a nice thing to do. Um, because people like different things. Like you said, I might have to add some sort of toggle or something that people could decide what they want to see and not see, because maybe no one, some people don't care about their progress, right?
Mm.
So it has no use to them. So there might have to be toggled so you could like hide it or something. But yeah, I would love any feedback on how to improve it, how to make better. Just right now, we saw Echo Pick had a scoring issue, so I'll definitely fix
Mm.
that uh, as soon as I can. But yeah, I just want to have this as something people could come to and kind of find what they want to do. Non-traditional events and training, or if they go to resources, they could go memory challenges and just learn some things. You know, they just want to completely learn.
Nice.
So
Mm.
so yeah, so it's just, I just want to have as much as possible out there, because I know when I first started I didn't have as much, and it was a lot of struggling and a lot of figuring it out, especially like with like palaces. I had spent so much time just trying to find palaces, think of palaces, and it was just like a barrier of training, because if you're using the memory palace and you don't have palaces, you cannot use the memory palace, right? You
Mm-hmm.
just can't. It's impossible. Yeah, you could maybe try to reuse some, but as you know, you have some ghost images if it's not cleared out. And so yeah, so there's just a lot of stuff I'm trying to do, just trying to help people get there. And like the major system, uh, you're able to kind of create images here, you
Cool.
know.
Mm.
So like 00, based off the stuff up here are potential words you could be using, you know. And so yeah, I'm just trying to give as many resources as possible, add a lot of things there, just so it's a lot easier for people to get started and not get so frustrated or get disheartened, because I don't have enough palaces, I can't train as much, or I don't know how to create my systems, or I just want to learn stuff. What's a good place to learn stuff? And so you could just go here and start learning, you know. And so I just kind of want to have everything I wish I had when I started, you know.
Mm.
And so yeah, that's pretty much it. With the site,
Cool.
what I wanted to do and all that. What I'm still trying to do, trying to add more to it. And like I said, anyone has any ideas, any suggestions, stuff like that, I would love to hear it, because I would love to work on this site 100% full time. Keep adding new cool things. I have other memory events in the works that I have mentally planned. Because right here, I think we have 13. And
Mm.
so that's a decent amount, but there's all these other ones I have too planned out. And so, as you know, because you say you're dealing with some coding and stuff like that, it's a process. Even if you use AI, it's a process with troubleshooting and finding the bugs and making sure it's working correctly and all that stuff. And so, uh, yeah, I would love just focus solely on this and just kind of making it, refining it, making it better and better and better. But yeah, but I am grateful that you took your time out of your day to talk to me about it, talk to me just in general too. That's really awesome of you. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you're very welcome. And the 151 Pokemon challenge. This is really cool. So yeah, so you can check that out. And it's not just about pure memorizing numbers or anything. It's really a bigger vision here, I think. Planets of solar system, Pokemon, or what is the last one? Logical fallacies. Oh, that's also very interesting.
Yep.
So I like it. So thank you, Johnny, for being here, taking also your time and showing around this nice Blitz memory here. Good luck on working on that, because I feel it's always, as you said, it's a long progress, but it's really worth doing it, I guess. So, Johnny, thank you very much, and yeah, maybe see you around. So maybe in a competition somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be great to catch up with you, see you in person. Yeah, you're
That would be
honest.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
great.
10 years at least. So way too long. Way too long.
Yep, a long time. I know. But just there's so much going on, and you're probably you're busy with all this stuff. It's just like, man. But I feel like, as you know, even if you don't care about memory competitions or want to be a memory champion, you still need to put at least some time into training your
Hmm.
mind. And I feel like for us, that's a good way to train our mind. Is just memory training, doing some events, right? Making sure
Hmm.
we're sharp. And I think that's the biggest thing people just need to take away, is that you just need to work on your mind. Just exercise your mind if it's memory training, if it's chess, if it's math problems, whatever it is, just kind of work on it. And so yeah, so I would love to, do more competitions and maybe come across you. If it's not in person, maybe virtual, come across you there too, it'd be great.
Cool. Johnny, thank you very much. Have a nice evening, or no, what is it? Day, I think.
Lunch.
Lunch. For me, it's 9:30 already in the evening. So
Ooh.
yeah. So yeah, thank you. Have a nice day then, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, you too.
Bye
Catch you
bye.
later. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day, and as always, keep on memorizing. Bye bye.